Greetings, everybody. We're back around the table again today to continue our discussion about the limited edition Mini Loco.
It's a mouthful.
It is. Yeah. Like we discussed in the earlier episode in the week, this version is using the snakeskin, rattlesnake, python, something micarta, and 20 CV for the blade. The regular production version has G10 and S30V.
Yeah. Darren gave us his to review, number 399. So that's a pretty badass number.
I like it.
Out of the limited edition factor. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And as cool as this knife is, for some of us at least, it's definitely got some downfalls.
Yeah.
There are things that I want to really like about this knife, and it just specifically in the ergonomics department, it kind of falls short for me, whether it's the fancy version or the G10 version.
So this is more an issue with overall design as opposed to the variant.
It's
Same with me.
Yeah. It's one of those things where when the Loco first came out, everyone was like kind of looking for a smaller version of that knife. And like, we're excited for the idea of a smaller version.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just took that design and shrunk it, and they didn't really test it in hand or anything else like that.
Yeah, like at least for me with my large hands, it gets into a very awkward sort of size that it's just too small for me. And then weirdly enough, it doesn't really fit Paul's hands either.
Like my fingers fall in the right places. It should fit. But like right in here, it just feels like my fingers are bending in a weird position, and it just isn't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the big problem with that is that we all love the full-size Loco. And I think the reason we love the full-size Loco is that it does fit much more naturally in your hand.
Totally.
But what you don't love about the full-size Loco is how much it fills up in the pocket.
It was a chunk.
Absolutely crazy.
I want a Loco in my hand and a Mini Loco in my pocket.
Yeah, and that's kind of what everyone was kind of asking for. So Benchmade tried to make it, but I think you guys are right when you nailed it on the head that they didn't think about the ergos in hand as much as the ergos in pocket.
How does it fit in the pocket?
Pocket weight on top of that, because the full-size one was a tank as well.
It's
right?
weird being in the middle of these two in terms of size. It's like this is acceptable, but compared to Benchmade's entire lineup, it still doesn't even make like first choice on any day.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you think these blades have a thick spine edge to them, yeah, the full-size Loco was just
like
monstrous.
Close to Adonis thick, if not thicker. Just crazy.
Easily.
And I think that went into cutting ability as well. So I think it does improve the cutting ability on a mini compared to a full size.
They cut pretty nice, yeah.
Thinning it out was a good choice, but maybe they should have pushed it a little further. Yeah.
Now, you dabbled on the pocket clip in particular being hot in your hand, right? And I think for a couple of us, we don't have quite that same issue.
You can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera there, but it falls right across the pads of like 3 out of 4 fingers and just digs in.
Instead of being able to squeeze properly.
Yeah. And yeah, for me, this guy actually fits pretty comfy into the crease I have there, so I barely even notice the pocket clip.
Your hand.
It fits in his crease.
Oh yeah, it does.
So
If I just grab it without thinking about it, it does fit into the groove of my palm. It's okay. But if I'm really like trying to get a nice solid, all of a sudden I'm running into your issue.
Yeah.
One of the other major issues that pretty much all of us had was the price point, and especially for the fit and finish.
Yeah.
It's limited. It's way better materials, but holy crap, $400 for
Okay, and we had this debate off camera as well, and I'm going to get into it a little bit, but you can start off with the point you want.
Yeah. One of the major points for the fit and finish that we have issues with is you can notice there's a bit of a fraying of the micarta around the edges, and right in the access lock hole there is one of the most notable spots.
It's a little irritating to see that on micarta because it should be a fairly easy thing to clean up in factory as you're producing it.
Yeah.
Along with, we did notice on the top of the handle as well, it also has some flush like right along here.
A little bit gappy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it wasn't quite 100% flush on either scale. There is a little bit of like chamfering, for lack of a better term. It's a terrible thing to have
Yeah.
against your liner and
Yeah.
your handle material.
And
but-
it shouldn't take a ton of effort. It shouldn't take a ton of effort, even for my card, to just lap it flat, get nice crisp edges, nice solid contact. But for whatever reason, it wasn't done, and it a little irritating.
It
Again.
shows that it wasn't done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you've got G10 as smooth and as clean as it is on here, to not see that smooth cleanliness on the $400 version, it's
I think we should point out too the fact that this is not a cheap knife in and of itself,
Mhm.
and then you add in the
Limited,
Yeah.
upgraded.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
mentioned, I mean, the difference between S30 and G10 that's already overpriced, and you throw in the limited edition factor, and then you throw in 20 CV, and you throw in this fancy micarta handle, and
a whole.
Benchmade has to keep their price point consistent
I was
with this
gonna
model.
say
Mhm.
a whole species of butterfly taxes with this one.
if they sold this for 300, people would be screaming about this, right?
Yeah.
So
So they have to make their price points consistent for this particular line to make sense.
and I can't fault that logic, but it still hurts at the end of the day when
This one's
Yeah.
greasy pill to swallow as much as this one is. It's absolutely ridiculous, right?
Very much so.
But it's one of those, if you like the knife, you might be willing to swallow the pill.
hey,
Yeah.
if you like a design enough, yeah, totally, absolutely.
and there are things definitely to like about it. The pivot is kind of not a just generic off the shelf kind of model, and
Yeah.
Customized hardware.
Yeah, and I like how customized hardware, the access lock,
mirrors that.
mirrors the pivot.
Well, and even to the point where the backspacers
Mhm.
are
Yeah.
these cool little triangular, trapezoidal, whatever type of thing you want
Little
to call
3D
it. Yeah,
machine,
diamonds.
little
Yeah.
blanks like
Diamonds,
that.
yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some uniqueness to these knives for sure. I am kind of disappointed that as far as the 3D machine, you don't see the black nearly as much, but I like in this particular model how the black like almost blends in with the micarta
Mhm.
as far as the black pivot compared to the polished pivot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
polished pivot would be too much on that knife, I think.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it would be too much, but the polished pivot definitely shows off the unique hardware.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think the black definitely makes it blend in much more.
100%.
You don't notice the splash. quite as
Especially because
much,
it's
right?
that flat black, so everything just kind of lays
Yeah.
together.
Very muted.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would have done that coating on the hardware,
That would have been cool.
especially
Perfect.
for the $400
Ideal.
price point. I know I keep harping on that.
Yeah,
but
especially because they did do the pocket clip with that, so that would have been nice to have it throughout.
see a continuum with that
Yeah.
color scheme. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually, on the note of the pocket clip, I actually mentioned how I'm very curious on how this tungsten nitride coating is going to wear.
Hmm.
Yes.
Compared to a polished, compared to a painted.
Yeah,
Um,
because the painted ones do go fairly quick.
how long have you owned this Super Freak,
Oh,
Nigel?
less than a month, I think.
Less than a month, and you
Yeah.
can already see some significant wear along the
Mhm.
edges on the painted ones.
I might just polish mine.
Yeah.
Let's just be done with it.
Carburized is pretty cool. They do a really good job. My 940-1 has that one, and it, I think, is the best coating out there.
Yes.
But it, again, leaves me to kind of be very curious
Hmm.
about how that's going to go long term if people choose to make
Pocket
this
it.
a user instead of just a collector's piece.
Yeah.
Right?
And also makes me curious if Benchmade will use this on other regular production models.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see. Yeah.
I would like to see. Actually, I like the color of it. I like the
Mhm, me
coating.
too.
I like where
Yeah.
they're going with it in certain models where it was appropriate. right?
Especially if you threw in it with a blade that's coated that same material or something
Was
like
it
that.
the bug out that also had a clip like that with the coated blade?
I can't
Or am I
remember if
just-
their clip is coated as well, but the blade is.
Yeah,
No,
the
the
top.
pocket clip is as well.
Okay.
But the Ranger Green one. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's got the same coating on the clip as well. So this
So
is
exactly
already
that, yeah.
something that's
Mhm.
becoming a thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but you put that on a Contigo with a gray blade, or you put
Mhm.
that onto
That'd be
a
kinda cool,
Griptilian with a gray handle, the 20 CV ones, might add a little bit of flashy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Indeed. As far as the aesthetics on this thing goes, it was a neat concept that they did, at least for me personally. I find it was a really interesting concept, but I don't quite enjoy the color choices that they choose for that pattern of the micarta. Too much of the kind of tan brownish threading is showing up all
of
the way
bleeds
across.
through.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
just gets too.
Too muddy, like you
Yeah.
were saying.
I would have
before,
liked
yeah.
to see more green
Yeah.
in
Yes.
this.
That would have been cool.
And in the corners and things like that. But then I was also joking that if you let myself or if you let Joseph have this for more than a month or so, you might end up with a very regular looking Loco, or at the very least, much more subdued and darker than it is right now. Because, I mean, even if you look at some of the micarta stuff that I have, it's absolutely crazy on.
That used to be green.
That used to be green. What I can do to things, right?
Yeah.
On that note, I forgot all the knives, so we're just going to keep some shit over here for
Fair
a minute.
enough.
And the thing that I was saying about it, I think that material on like an SE or something like that with a big wide handle scale might look okay.
For sure. A big flat slab for it to...
Exactly.
For whatever reason, it just reads as cheesy on this knife to me, and
A little bit.
I'm not really a fan of it. I like the material, just not on that knife.
Not even an SE, but a Tops, where they do that kind of pattern where they cut the X in.
The mountain tread.
Yeah.
I will say though, compared to the pictures in Benchmade's like announcement when they were coming out with this is actually more subdued than what their pictures actually look like. Their pictures made this thing look somewhat blingy to the point where I was like, wow, that's a little bit crazy.
I wonder if when they put out that photo, if they got feedback from the community saying it's a little bright, like maybe tone it down a little bit.
Oh, I think it was already out. I think it was already being shipped by the time they had made the announcement. There was no lead up to this one.
That's fair.
So, yeah.
But you like this version more than the super blingy.
The one that they announced I think it was more editing more than anything else. I think just the way that they made all the colors pop for this one when they made their big announcement.
Was it on Instagram?
Filters.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It straight up was. That was where one of the first announcements came out about this knife was on the Instagram, for sure.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it was. They just turned the saturation up and
So even though I agree with Nigel about more greens, more blacks, less browns to make it muddy, I'm happy with the fact that it wasn't like
not
Technicolor dream coat action going on.
Yeah.
Like it's
doesn't make you look like a clown.
More contrast without increasing the color would be nice.
No
saturation.
One thing I wanted to dabble on lastly before we get into this is everyone was talking about price point with this, and we dabbled about the upgrade from the limited edition to the whatever, and then the butterfly tax or whatever, right? But when you look at examples of micarta and examples of micarta coming from Benchmade and materials coming from Benchmade, I mean, this is a $150 knife Canadian, give or take wherever you look, right? At least brand new, not where it's been blackened by my soul and re-edged with a mirror polished convex. Anyway, but if you look at S30 with this much slab of micarta, that's not a limited edition knife. And then you look at this with a 20 CV, how much micarta, big thick steel liners, there's only 500 made.
And a specialized micarta at that.
Yeah. It's not even these two product lines that's justifying it. It's Benchmade as a whole that's justifying the price point on this knife. And as long as consumers continue to buy them, myself included, I'm guilty of it. It's not like I'm above this when I say it. But as long as we continue to buy them, we can't bitch too much about a price point when we all are suckers for it.
The only thing I'll say on that note is that there was no threads hanging off that knife when you got it.
No, for whatever reason, that one was
but I
pretty much...
felt some roughies. And I've seen some dirties on the inside with bushings and the dirties. And that's what you were laughing at. But
it was the roughies and then the dirties, and I was laughing at it, actually.
It's the combination. It just brings it together.
It reminds me of what is the old 80s tooth PSA things with the cavity guys marching through the roughies and the dirties.
Case of the roughies.
Yeah.
Oh no, the dirties are coming up back.
Exactly.
Because I have seen different flaws and inconsistencies out of the factory with the propers as well. So
people have been talking about Benchmade and out of factory flaws for a long time. It feels like beating a dead horse, but I think it's especially relevant when they try to use it as an excuse for almost doubling the price point on a limited edition, right?
But I mean, they've upped prices on limited editions and kept the steel with an S30V.
That also bothers me.
And we've seen them do it where there's nothing different with the blade steels.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if we've outright expressed it or not, but I think we can all agree that 20 CV is an awesome steel choice.
Very much.
Yeah.
Giggity.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
about the giggity for
Yeah.
20 CV for sure. It is.
Shit,
Yeah.
even the micarta they have is excellent. Like it's like it grips well. The materials aren't the problem. It's basically
No.
Yeah. But I think there needs to be a big stand up. I mean, as far as like telling Benchmade where the price point is appropriate and where it isn't. And the only way to do that is to stop purchasing their knives. I'm not going to do it.
Me
Like,
neither, probably.
So I'm going to swallow the pill when the right knife comes out for that price. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
When the
oh,
right
yeah, I
knife
want
does come
one.
out, yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
if that means we only buy a Benchmade once every year or two, right?
So if this is the right pill to swallow, swallow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good note to end on. That's how all films end anyway, right? Like it's
Oh, we need to have a talk
All
after
of them.
this. Yeah, this is why we.
So yeah, just like to thank Darren for lending us the knife for our review purposes here. Check him out at Stone Wookie. He's got a very cute puppy.
He does.
And we'd also like to thank the Cutting Edge because they are the ones that lent us the normal Mini Loco for us for comparison as well. They were kind enough for us to take it home so we could show off
Compare and contrast.
the
Yep.
two differences between the two. Yeah, for sure. So
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, that all being said, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
I'm XL.ca.
We will catch you again next time.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.